Hey everyone, welcome back to the RPGames YouTube channel. My name is Ralph. This is the life and suffering of Sir Randolph, Brante. It's the year 1135, and we send a letter home. Soon as we're accepted into the Imperial College, the family replies quickly. Their letter arrives in under a week. Most of it is covered with your father's handwriting. I'm proud of you, my son, and I believe your grandfather takes pride in you too. Well, that's a bit hard to tell since he's dead, isn't he? You've brought our family one step closer to being a noble by the sword. You'll make an excellent judge. I have complete faith in your intellect and your will. You shall bring glory to the family. Stefan's congratulations follow your father's. Oh, even him. Congratulations, brother. The simple folk could only dream of what you have already achieved. Yeah, I had to fight nobles to get into the Imperial College, so... You could thank father and grandfather for this opportunity, but it was you who proved yourself worthy. Once you received your new lot, you and I will be equals. At last. Well, not really, though. Because there is still a difference, from what I understand, between nobles of the mantle and nobles of the sword, is there not? Then some words of praise from Mother and Nathan. Mother is going to be disappointed because she wanted me to become a priest. Yeah, you see? You have brought your father much joy. Not me, your father. I made him proud, and I am witness to this. You now walk this path all thanks to him. Yet it saddens me that you did not consider the divine seminary, where you could have dedicated your life to our gods as well as the Empire itself. You worked so hard for this. We held a big feast in your honor back home. I hope you achieved all you've ever wanted. Well, I got drunk and kissed the girl on my first night here, so... yeah, pretty much. And at the very end, there is a small note from your sister. Oh, okay. Congratulations, good luck. Hey, why aren't you more enthusiastic? I mean, I thought we had a bond, Gloria. Alright, Daddy loves us. That's good. No daddy issues. Look at that. Stefan loves us too. Wow. Gloria does not, for some reason. Well, she has had really bad experiences with nobles. And with certain nobles in her family even. So, I mean, it's not that strange. And relation with mother doesn't change, apparently. Okay. It's only a few days since you became a student at the college. Your education has barely begun when an amazing piece of news surprises all the students. Every year, Cornelius Tempest, the great chancellor and the emperor's younger brother, grants an honor to all future nobles of the mantle and invites them to a masquerade at his summer palace. Professors and lecturers instruct you to look and act your best in order to preserve the college's honor. They tell you more about the ball too. All who attend it from the college must prove themselves with word and deeds to the members of the great Arknian dynasties that will be present there. This means the reputation of your home province will be at stake too. Oh great, yeah. The one Arknian noble that came to mess up the dueling club is gonna be there too, probably. It's time to get ready. You order a proper suit for the occasion and a mask to go with it. What mask did I pick? It looks simple but by no means plain and only hides your eyes. Oh, turn around, you doofus. Show us the mask. The day comes, you spend an entire morning preparing for the ball. Your fellow students give you hints about how to attach the cuffs, keep the collar straight. Make sure your hair remains coiffed for the entire night. Soon the carriages start flocking to Cornelius Tempest's summer palace. The tall, ornate outer fence surrounds a sprawling garden in full bloom. The marble-paved driveway is so wide, can accommodate 2 rows of carriages. Impressive. You and your fellow students walk up the massive stairs to the front door of the palace. You seem tiny and incongruous against the background of this scenic grandeur. Damn, throwing in a lot of fancy words here. Grandeur. What was the previous one? Coiffed? The Master of Ceremonies instructs all newcomers to seek the province's coats of arms. You see the banner of Magra from far away, depicting the silver tree digging its roots into the murky grey soil. Below it is a banner bearing the coat of arms of the Milanidas dynasty. Why aren't these people wearing masks? Imagine that, I'm the only one with a mask. Turns out students from the college were not the only ones invited to this party. You see academy cadets lined up beneath the banners too, and Thomas is among them. A wide grin appears on his face when he sees you go under the banner of Maga. I just knew you'd be here today, pal. What can I say? Congratulations, student. As for me, I'm not so bad off myself, see? Military Academy is father and mother to me now. His merry speech is interrupted by a tall, proud Arknian in a heavy cloak. You recognize him. He is Dorius Otton, Sophia's former master. Make way for your commander, soldiery. The last time you saw Otton, he was searching the back streets of Anizotti, by her house, for a girl servant. But now the young Arknian's uniform betrays his high standing. He is young, yet he is already the province's commander. Who put him in charge of all the military forces of Magra at such an age? What's wrong? You know him or something? A brief description of Otton is enough to wipe the smile off his face. You see no other high-ranking officials bearing the colors of Magra at this party. Seems Dorius Otton will be the main representative of your province tonight. You watch the other college students and academy cadets line up under the provincial banners. The blue and silver banner of Arknian, the emperor's own province, is in the very center of the hall. Judging by the hills jutting out from beneath their belts, many of those who surround that banner are nobles of the sword. Thomas is clearly jealous. The group from Arknia stands proudly, ennobled by its iconic and dignified history. The Arknian race and the empire originated in their very lands. A sizable group of students stand under the banner of Monia, a wealthy agricultural province signified by yellow grains and a field of ore. The wealth of the young men beneath this banner is plain to see. Their attire is on par with the Arknians in terms of luxury, perhaps even more vibrant in terms of color. The most numerous group at the party stands under the banner of Illyria, a yellow griffin against a field of azure. All the Illyrians are clothed in well-tailored suits with a minimum of decoration. Some of them wear gloves. Most of them come from wealthy industrial families, and it seems many of them would feel more at ease in their family factories than at a noble party like this one. 3 banners represent the northern provinces of Fiona, Hermia, and Constanta. These banners, like the groups associated with them, stand together. The Royal Tempest dynasty oversees all 3 of them. The students and cadets are clearly well off, yet they are dressed in modest, functional garments to honor the austere traditions of the North. Oh wow, even in this in this fantasy world, the North is austere. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Stark. And finally, the smallest of the groups is represented by an open book against Field of Argent, Astynia, homeland of the Diamond Dynasty. By the order of Patriarch Unius Diamond, the open book of the new fate has been added to the banner only recently. Nearly all the young men beneath this banner are clothed in academy uniforms. They wear no adornments, but they are clad impeccably, with nary a button undone, the embodiment of rigor and restraint. The Master of Ceremonies signals the beginning of the party. It's time for dancing. Oh my goodness, no. The first dance is a minuet, and tradition calls for everyone to dance. Great, that's a party that I would be really bad at, to be honest. Not that I don't like dancing or anything, but I really need to be in the mood, and I don't mean drunk, like I mean in the mood to dance, you know. Harpsichord music fills the hall. The academy cadets waste no time finding dance partners and soon already making the fluid first steps on the minuet. You take a look around. One of the young ladies representing Magra catches your eye. Oh, I'm sure she does. She is slender like all Arknians and clothed in a yellow dress embroidered with emerald green, her face hidden behind the full mask decorated with bright green feathers. If that is Sophia, I'm going to shit my pants. What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you, the way she walks. Black eyes from behind a mask watch you closely. She tilts her head. There are no words, but you feel there is a question. Everyone in the hall is startled by a sudden noise. You look behind you and see Thomas getting up off the floor. His face a grimace of rage. Dorius Otton stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arm rests on the hilt of his sword. Oh boy, here we go. Who allowed this clumsy commoner inside the Great Chancellor's palace? His noble masters are trying to dance, and it's getting underfoot. Thomas looks like he's about to explode in Otton's face, but the smug Arknian sword is a clear threat. If your friend's rage gets the better of him, he will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Arknian beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. She comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance. Oh no! I have to choose between my friend who I sworn an oath of loyalty to and a woman. It is a beautiful, blue-skinned woman, I have to say, in my defense. In case you are wondering what I'm gonna pick. Oh boy, let's see what happens here. We can resolve the quarrel. So my diplomacy is 16, so that is why I can do that. I get manipulation +1 and Dorius Otton +1, okay. You can draw Otton's ire upon yourself, which loses 10 willpower. It gives me a +1 eloquence. Oh, it loses 5 willpower, okay. Or I can dance with the mysterious lady and that gives me +10 willpower, and I have 10 willpower now. And this is Octavia Milanidas, remembers me. And my friend Thomas is -1. Oh boy, oh man, I'm such a loyal friend, it's unbelievable. Do I want manipulation +1 though? I really don't. And I don't want to be friends with this Otton guy either. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would I draw this ire upon me? This gives me willpower. Octavia remembers me. I think that's gonna be what's gonna happen. Yeah, Thomas can take care of himself. I mean, he can beat up the noble. See, I had a weak moment there where I was gonna be a loyal friend, and then then I looked into those beautiful black eyes and I said, "Yeah, Thomas, take care, buddy." Oh my goodness. You turn your head towards the Arknian beauty and offer her your hand, taking care not to rush your movements. A moment later, her fingers gracefully come to rest in yours. The masked lady's touch feels electric against your skin. You walk together to the center of the hall where the other couples are already dancing. You bow, and she makes a curtsy. I swear, Thomas, I didn't see what happened there. I just didn't. Otherwise, I would have helped you, of course. I mean, we swore an oath of loyalty to each other. Of course I would have helped you if I had seen it. Her hands are incredibly thin. They seem so delicate you fear you might snap them if you squeeze too hard. You adjust to her steps, counting the rhythm to the music. Your lady for the dance is an Arknian, a noble born to rule, yet this is a dance where you must take the lead. Ooh. As you walk around her, your eyes catch an embroidered ornament on the arm of her dress. You spy many thin emerald threads, all interwoven into a pattern of interlocking snakes. This young woman is Octavia Milanidas, daughter to the Archduke of your home province. Is this the girl whose handkerchief I have still somewhere? It has to be, right? The minuet ends. You bow to the lady and offer to accompany her wherever she chooses before the next dance. Why then be so kind as to accompany me for another dance? Ah, yeah, baby. This next one is a dance on one tile. You know those dances? Where you just put your bodies against each other and wiggle on one tile? Those were my favorite dances. Before you know it, the night is almost over. Octavia will not let you go. Ha! She does not accept another invitation until she has danced with you 3 times. You spot Thomas in the crowd during a break. He catches your eye and salutes you with a wine glass. Judging from his lopsided grin, Otten must have had him removed from the dance floor. But any concern for your friend is forgotten when you see the beautiful Octavia approaching you again. Yeah, baby. Walk up to me, baby. Hey, my friend is still sympathetic. Plus I have 20 willpower now. I'm prepared for anything, yeah, you see? I'm even prepared to what Octavia is gonna do with me tonight. Maybe I have I have this issue where I have this very active imagination, you know? It's very helpful in role-playing games. It's the year 1136 now, the trial of the 50. You've lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Yeah, but isn't this what this new fate is preaching as well? I mean, every session of the trial is open to the public. It's a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Oh boy. 1 woman called Sophia, I think. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman? Oh no, oh okay. Her name was Annie Siren. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she's about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she's happy to give her lives, fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She's dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontentment in the crowd. We are definitely going to problematic status quite soon. Sir El Croix Lesson. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into a routine of lesson after lesson. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. The subjects only get tougher, and the instructors grow ever more demanding as your studies continue. Yet law is not the only thing you study. No, I study the beautiful eyes of an Arknian noble, probably. And not just the eyes. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and the written word. Washing dark blue ink off your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. Maybe the blue ink is on my fingers because I hope to pass for an Arknian, who knows. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion, but your childhood dream is worth it. Then finally there comes a short break in your studies, a handful of days for rest and recreation. You meet Thomas to discuss how you're going to spend this time. You're coming with me tonight. No excuses, Brante. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron El Croix. It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Thomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in a noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open and you can hear people talking to each other. The house's sitting room is filled with young people, at least 24 men, almost all of them academy cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in that armchair is the gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer, smoking a pipe. His thick hair falls over his large observant eyes. Baron El Croix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech while everyone listens respectfully. As I was saying, young men, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory of the Empire belonged to the Arknian dynasties is long gone. Human nobles have been serving the Emperor at least as well as the Arknian nobles for a long time now. Still, the Arknians keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. Oh, that sounds a lot like desertion? Take the Milanidas dynasty, for example, the Archdukes of Magra. Long ago, their leader, Tsar Milanidas, fomented a rebellion against the rule of the Tempests and Twins' fate. He sucked all life from his own land, doomed thousands of his own subjects, and yet the Milanidas dynasty still rules over Magra like nothing ever happened. Then suddenly Sir El Croix flashes a cunning grin. Think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young men, but first let me refresh your memory on the rebellion of Tsar Milanidas. It may seem surprising, but we have him to thank for our current status. He was the first to ennoble humans, an act of unprecedented insolence, but it gave the rebellious Duke immense support in his province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger, thanks to humans, and in that, he succeeded. No one had ever dared challenge the rule of the Arknians and Tempests before, but the rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became a part of the nobility, we got a taste of the power only the Arknians could wield before, and unless I'm mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why, we outnumber the members of the Arknian dynasty dozens of times over. So, Tsar Milanidas had complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who fled to Anizari, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the Church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, yet 2 pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire province. Well, that stands in the way of your success. That much is clear. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their tracks, but the population of Magra would no longer side with Tsar Milanidas after that. Second, the clergy struck at the rebellious Duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone, and his main advantage was no more. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire an entire month of siege before the palace of Anizati was taken. After the rebellion of Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled. And, I'd like to stress that in particular, ennobled not by birth, but by virtue of their own knowledge and talent. History, young men, is more than just a memory of the past, it's also a lesson for our future. I believe that part of our history proves my point. And now a test, tell me, if you were among the Imperial strategists during the rebellion, what would you have done? How would you have fought an enemy as powerful as Tsar Milanidas? With this, Sir El Croix leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe while the cadets start discussing. Some take no time to say they cannot believe Sir El Croix thinks humans were first ennobled by serving the rebellious Duke. Others say the prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon ideas start flying. Some cause only laughter while others lead to debate. They're discussing the past of Anizati, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent right now. If you were in command of the Imperial legions back then, what would you have done? Based on what you know about the rebellion of Magra, you see 3 potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins' miracles to rob Milanidas of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. The third means drawing out the siege while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these 3 strategies would you have chosen? Okay, if we rely on the will of the twins, that gives us +1 valor and +1 theology. If we press for a decisive assault, that gives us +1 valor and +1 eloquence. And if we lay siege to the palace, it's +1 valor and +1 scheming. What do I need more, eloquence, scheming, or theology? Probably lay siege to the... Yeah, let's do a little bit of scheming there. You would have starved the city into submission and seized it by cunning. You decide it's time for you to answer Sire El Croix. Proper way to bring down the castle of Venizetti would have been through a prolonged siege, you say. The lands of Magra could no longer feed the warriors of Tsar Milanidas at that stage of the rebellion, and when their supplies eventually ran out, they would have opened the gate from the inside. Sire El Croix looks at you, studying you attentively. I agree with what you're saying, young Brante, in a sense. Had the Imperial forces done that, they would have lost fewer men and kept the palace of Venizetti intact. Yet you are missing my other point here. Milanidas' army would have continued fighting, even emaciated by the siege, even with their numbers dwindling. True, some did flee, but those who stayed to defend the city and the castle, even after the Imperial forces broke in, remained loyal to their lord until the very end. Long ago, only Arknians had the right to wield weapons and wage war. Now humans can prove their merit and earn the same right. Humans, like ourselves. And the present empire has grown even stronger thanks to its new warriors and functionaries. These days humans can judge and rule and create. The terrors wrought by the rebellious Duke are undeniable. Yet his rebellion created new possibilities for all of us. And this, young men, is the moral of the story. Tsar Milanidas was defeated, but not by the clergy and their prayers. Not even by the noble militias assembled by the other archdukes. He was vanquished by the imperial legions, a unified army with clear regulations and ranks and a clear chain of command, an army that is strong in discipline and loyalty to the empire. His eyes finally move away from you and back to the rest of the young men in the hall. Nobody else dares to argue with the battle-hardened officer. The evening continues. Sire El Croix shares some of his war stories, each more astounding than the last. The rest of the night you're out of the Baron's center of attention, and so you join Thomas and the other cadets in sipping wine and enjoying his tales. You return to the college. Long after midnight, you often recall Baron El Croix's story about the rebellion of Tsar Milanidas. After that, the rebellious Duke lost the war. Yet he brought about drastic changes for humans in the entire empire. Okay, so I've become a dangerous enemy. I'm one away from being battle-hardened. Damn. That is pretty cool. I hope that unlocks something. And I'm still a inexperienced schemer though, but you know. Alright, that's another 2 years and another episode. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along. And I will see you in the next episode.